Ashley, Lorette, Cheryl, and Alyssa, the Axemen Loggers of Maine. All right, we are going to get right into the action now, folks. The first event's going to be the hot saw competition. Hot saws are these modified steel 441 chainsaws. They've been torqued up a little bit, that big black pipe. This makes them a little louder and a whole lot more powerful. Now, a hot saw competition is a chainsaw race. It starts with the saws off, a cold start. We tell them to go, and they need to make 3 cuts through the log. 1 cut down, 1 cut up, and a 3rd cut down. They have to cut full discs. We call them wood cookies. They can't cut out to the side. If they cut out to the side on the way up or down and don't do a full disc, they have to go back and redo the cut. If they don't, it's a disqualification. Now, while they're getting their safety gear on, explain a couple things. There's a saying in this sport, it's called thin to win. That's what the competitors say. What that means is the thinner you cut that wood cookie, the less pressure there is on the chain, you'll go through that log a little faster. It might just be a minute second, but you're going to go through faster. The problem is, you think you've got a nice thin wood cookie, and you've cut out. So you end up getting disqualified. So you got to be accurate if you're going to do that. To have a better chance of these saws starting, when we tell them to go, the ladies are about to start up the saws and warm them up. Any little ears in the crowd, any sensitive ears, let's hang on a second. I'm going to want to block your ears for just a few seconds here. Okay? They are warmed up. Folks, we're going to get you guys involved in the action. We're going to split the crowd into a cheering section. We're going to have everybody from here on over. You guys are going to be cheering for Ashley and Cheryl. Let's hear for Ashley and Cheryl. Everybody from here on over, you're rooting for Lorette and Alyssa. Let's hear it. Okay. If anybody gets any cool pictures or videos, if you're on social media, if you don't mind sharing them, to the town's Facebook pages and to the Axemen Facebook and Instagram pages. It helps us get the word out about women in timber sports, helps us grow the sport. So we appreciate it. Okay, are you ready? It's going to be a 3, 2, 1, go. They've got hearing protection on. You guys in the crowd are going to do the 3, 2, 1, go. Since they've got hearing protection on, let's practice that now nice and loud to make sure they're going to hear you. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Could you hear it? All right. Who's rooting for Ashley over on that side? Who's rooting for Lorette over here? Let's give them a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Two.
There's another one.
I know. All right, let's hear it for Lorette for the win. Oh, and that's what I was talking about. That's a cutout. See, she went to go thin, and that's what she had to go back, and that's what cost her the match right there. So she would have gotten disqualified, but she got beat on the time anyways as a result of cutting it just a little too thin. Not a full cookie. So good event for both ladies, a good win for Lorette. All right. That brings us to our next event, and it's right here, and it's axe throwing. Now, anywhere you go in the world, if axe throwing is part of a timber sports competition, the rules are going to be pretty much the same. You stand and you throw 20 feet from the target. The target bullseye is going to be 5 to 6 feet above the ground. The ladies are throwing double bit axes. If you don't know what a double bit axe is, it means that there's 2 blades on the head. Handle length, 24 inches. Now, if I hear a moose. Anybody hear a moose? You hear a lot about axe throwing bars and axe throwing clubs opening up all over North America. If you haven't tried it, I recommend giving it a try. It's a lot of fun. But most of them aren't throwing axes. They're throwing hatchets from 12 to 15 feet and calling it axe throwing. In a timber sports competition or woodsman's day, you have to throw a real axe from 20 feet. Now each lady will get a warm-up throw and then 3 throws apiece. The high score wins. The bullseye is worth 5 points and it drops a point each ring you go out from there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here is Alyssa's warm-up. Oh, bullseye on the warm-up. She wants to skip her warm-up. Can't do that. Sorry. Here is Lorette's warm-up. No, you can't skip it unless you call it ahead of time. Here is Ashley's warm-up. And here is Cheryl's warm-up. Oh, all right, that's okay. It's warm-ups. Now it counts. Who's rooting for Alyssa? Up 4. Up steps Lorette. Who's rooting Lorette on? Who says boo? Bullseye. Up steps Ashley. First throw that counts. Let's cheer on Ashley. Who's rooting for Ashley's team? Good for 2. All right, here is Cheryl's first throw that counts. Let's cheer on Cheryl. That is good for 2. All right. Up steps Alyssa. Bullseye. Here's Lorette, already got a bullseye. What do we got? 3. Ashley's second throw. That's good for 2. And Cheryl's second throw. That is good for 3. 3. Okay, we're on our third and final throws. We go with the low scorer throws first up to the high scorer. Who has what? 9. 5. Everybody's within you know, you can technically tie and everybody can miss. So, who's up? Ashley's up with a 4. Needs a bullseye to get back in the competition. Let's cheer her on.
It's not my game.
Oh, good throw. Is that into the 4?
No.
That's a 3. Still a strong finish for a 7. Up steps Cheryl. What do you got, Cheryl? 5? All right. Let's cheer her on. If bullseye gets her right back in. Oh, tough one. All right. Lorette, what do you have? 8. Alyssa? 9. Down to Lorette with 8 and Alyssa with 9. 3 for a total of 11. Good throwing. All right, here's Alyssa. She has got 9. She needs a 2 to tie, 3 to win. Who's rooting her on? Is that in there? That's a bullseye. Good throw to finish it off. Total of 14. Okay. Good throwing by all the ladies. It brings us to our next event. And it's right here on these 2 peel block logs. Excuse me. Sorry. My bad. This is called the underhand chop. It's one of the more exciting and dangerous of the timber sports events. Now they peel the they peel the bark off the logs because most of you know when you skid logs out of the forest, you get a lot of dirt and stone caught up in that bark. Well, that dirt and stone would ruin the blade of an axe very quickly while they were chopping through it. The axes that the ladies are using today, these aren't your typical backyard woodshed type of axe. These are competition racing axes. They're expensive. They're amongst the most expensive axes you'll find. The heads go anywhere from $800 up to a few $1,000s. Now, the heads are also heavy. Average weight is about 8.5 pounds. That's the same weight as a splitting ball. And they are super sharp. Sharpest axes you'll find out there. Competition racing axes. There's only a handful of companies in the entire world that make these axes. They all take a lot of pride in their product. Now, Ashley is using a chopping axe that is made by a company out in New Zealand called Tuatahi. You might think, why is the New Zealand company got anything to do with logging sports or timber sports? Well, they take a lot of pride in the axe out there. One of the oldest axes ever found by archaeologists was found on an island off the coast of New Zealand, and it was over 40,000 years old. So they take a lot of pride in that. So Tuatahi makes a great product, as does, are you using a precision axe? Precision Axe, great family out of Death Valley, California. They make throwing axes and chopping axes. So these guys take so much pride in their product. If you were to buy one before they send it out to you, at the factory, the axe maker, whoever made that particular head, is going to take that and run it down their arm and give it the razor test. Make sure it's sharp as a razor. Down their arms. Yeah, their forearm. All right, so they have cut some footholds, chopped some footholds in the logs, because without that bark, it'd be too slippery to stand on it. They have to stand on these logs, chop about halfway through the back, spin around, and chop the rest of the way through the front. Give them just a second. Now, if they were to fall off while they're chopping, they don't get disqualified. However, you lose valuable time climbing back on the log when you could be chopping. This event takes a lot of stamina, it takes a lot of strength, it takes a lot of accuracy. You're swinging that axe and chopping in between your feet, and it takes a ton of balance. When they spin around and they're facing you, and they're on their last 6 or 7 chops, all of their weight is going to be on their right leg. The other foot will be on the log, but all the weight will be on the right leg. So they're basically chopping on one leg. The reason they have to do that is only this side of the log is permanently attached to the cradle. The other side of the log is going to fall free to the ground when they chop through. And if their weight is over there as well, they're going to fall with the axe over their head. So they got to balance, they got to be strong, they got to be accurate. All right, cheer them on through the whole event. Your cheering feeds their adrenaline. Who's rooting for Ashley over here? Who's rooting for Alyssa over here? Let's give them a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's going down. I'm yelling timber. You better move. You better dance. Let's make a night. You won't remember. I'll be the one. You won't forget.
Alyssa's made the turn. Watch the pattern she's chopping with. She goes from bottom to top and then over to top to bottom. They're trying to take the biggest chunks of wood out of this log with each swing of the axe. And there's Ashley making the turn. Cheer them on, guys. They're out here swinging with all their might. Watch how high they pull that up over their head. You got helicopters dropping out of the sky on top of them. Here we go.
Come on, Ashley. Come on, Alyssa.
When you hear a loud crack, that means you're only about a swing or two away from breaking through the log. And there, I heard it over here on this side. It looks like it's gonna be, here comes Ashley. And it's Alyssa for the win. She's got it. Here we go. Almost there. There's that moose again. There. One more. There it is. All right. Good effort. All right. That's a good win for Alyssa right here. Let's hear it. Good effort by Ashley. Who thinks these ladies are just a little bit crazy if you're swinging an axe that close to their feet? Well, they're balanced up there. Huh? A couple of you do. They're not that crazy. They are wearing, excuse me, they're wearing these chainmail socks underneath their boots or shoes. Lorette will show you. But this chainmail, this is the same material that's used for making butcher gloves. And they use it to make shark suits. What that means is if you're up there chopping on your log and a great white shark comes along, you're gonna be all right. It also means that if something were to go wrong with that axe and it glance off the log and it sinks into your boot or your shoe, you're not gonna chop off your toe, you're not gonna slice your foot up, you're gonna be protected by all these little steel rings. However, all that energy has to go somewhere, so it spreads out over the rings. So now it's like you took an 8-pound sledgehammer and hit your foot as hard as you can, and it mashes it up and breaks your foot. So, but at least your foot's all together when you get to the doctor. Great job by the ladies. If you want to see what can happen, this is one of Ashley's shoes. Last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Whoops.
So, an 8-pound axe, sharpest thing in the world as far as an axe goes, swinging with all her might, and a little bird flew by and she looked up. No. But she still has her toes. Mashed up her foot pretty good, but she's out here chopping, so let's give her a hand. All right, you guys ready to see some log rolling? All righty.
Ready to stay dry?
Back in the old days, a lot of you know that the rivers were the highways that we used to get the logs to the sawmills. Well, one of the most dangerous jobs in logging was to be a river driver. The river drivers would have to guide those logs, hundreds of thousands of them, down the rushing rivers, and if things got jammed up, a log jam, they'd have to run out there on the log jam and undo it. They'd have to balance, running out on spinning logs, find what was called the key log, or key logs, things that are holding everything up, undo them, sometimes with a stick of dynamite or a pole. But then once they undid it, they couldn't just run back to shore. They had to stay on these logs and balance on them while they're rushing down the river. If they fell in, it was almost certain death. Either getting crushed by the logs or drowning or dying from hypothermia from the cold. Well, that dangerous job turned into what we call a heritage sport. Heritage sport is a sport that grew out of an industry or a job way back in the day. And that heritage sport is known worldwide today as burling or log rolling. And when you see burling on TV, a lot of times the competitors will be wearing steel spikes. They're called corks. That's what the old river drivers used. You'll see them wearing that in the competition if the competition is in a cement pool or if it's in a pond or a lake. Most competitions, however, are going to vinyl pools. If you wore steel spikes with a vinyl pool, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have one log roll and then water all over the place. So what do you use? Well, you go to a flat-soled shoe similar to a tennis shoe. You'll also note that that's not a wooden log. It's synthetic. It is a competition log rolling log. we have a Western red cedar log for log rolling, weighs 600 pounds. We've switched over to this log because it's designed for competitions. And the reason it was designed, the reason it was invented, is they're trying to get log rolling into the Olympics. It's the first heritage timber sport event in the Olympics. The Olympics, though, they don't want a wooden log in there because every log, how many foresters and loggers we got out here? Anybody in the industry? If you know trees, they might look the same, but inside they're all different. So when they're spinning in the water, they might have a different spin. Whether it's because the internal knots weighing it, it gives a different spin. Competitors at the Olympic event, somebody might have an advantage or a disadvantage. So they wanted something uniform for equipment. So a young lady who's a world champion log roller invented this thing. It's called the key log. It weighs 65 pounds empty. You fill it up with water, weighs 500 pounds. It's full of baffles that give it no sloshing. And we've got the key log. Want to go over the rules? All right. So this is a lot quicker in the old days. The old days, there weren't any rules. Once the event started, you could run to the other end of the log and you could punch your competitor right in the nose. You could knee him, you could kick him, you could pull their hair, call them a name, whatever worked for you. Can't do that anymore, Cheryl. This ain't New Hampshire, this is Maine. All right? What are you allowed to do? Well, for one thing, you cannot cross over to the other side of that middle section. You cannot touch the other competitor. What you can do is switch the direction of the log by spinning the log with your feet. You can also get the log rocking by shifting your weight, try to pop your competitor off. And if you're a gambler and you're daring, while that log is spinning, for just a split second, you balance on one foot and you kick water into your competitor's face. Even if they're wearing sunglasses, your reflex, if something's coming at your eyes, is to blink. If you blink when you're on a spinning log, you're probably going to end up in the water. However, it's a gamble, as I said, because if that person who's kicking takes too many kicks in a row or takes too long to kick, the person at the other end of the log knows you're on one foot. They take advantage of that. They knock you off the log by shifting the direction of the log. So we'll see if anybody dares to try that. It's going to be the best 3 out of 5. The water is a balmy 60 degrees. Neither of these ladies want to get in the water. So they're going to be looking to stay on as long as they can. Who's rooting for Alyssa over on the right? Who's rooting for Cheryl? Here we go.
Come on, Alyssa. Hi, Carol. Hi, girl.
Here's a small kick. Another kick.
Here, girl.
Oh, we got a good roll going on. There's a little rock in the log. Another kick by, oh, and it worked. All right, you'll take note how they're using their arms. They're going out and back for balance. Also notice that they're never looking at their own feet. They're watching their competitors' feet. That was a good roll, but that was Alyssa for the win. She's up 1-0. Who wants to see Cheryl tie it up? Who wants to see Alyssa go up? 2-0. There's a kick. Another kick. Another. Oh, and she went to the well once too often. 3 kicks in a row was too much for Cheryl. She had had enough, and she sent Alyssa into the deep. All right, 1-1, all tied up. Where's Cheryl's team? Where's Cheryl's team? Let me hear it. All right, tied it up. Who's rooting for Alyssa to go up? 2-1. Alyssa up, 2-1. Hey folks, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. If y'all want to meet the ladies after the show, ask them any questions about the sport or how they got started in it, or take a look at the equipment, meet them right over here at the corner. They're happy to answer any questions, sign an autograph, take a picture. We can't allow you to touch the equipment. I'm sorry about that. But they also have, they've got some new t-shirts available. They're tie-dye, okay? And they've got some magnets that they've made. What else? They got can koozies and stickers. Alrighty. Oh, and a water bottle. That might belong to one of the teams, actually, so don't try to sell it. Alright. It is, it's for sale. Alright, it's 2-1, Alyssa. Who's rooting for Alyssa to win it all? Who's rooting for Cheryl to tie it up?
You better take it easy, 'cause the place is on fire. Been a hot day and I had no work to do.
There's a kick by Alyssa. Another kick by Alyssa. Oh, no! Ow!
So you have me, baby.
All right, are you all right? Good? Okay. All right, let's hear it for Cheryl. She tied it up, going to a fifth row. And the log is back to the dock. Here we go. Walking the log. That's a save by Cheryl. Wait a second.
Feel so good.
Wait a second. So it's not who leaves the log first, it's who hits the water first after they've left the log. Sometimes you see competitors lift their legs up close to them, tuck them away to hope to be the last one in the water. But what's it look like from over there, Lorette? An exact tie. It's a do-over. I'm sure they're happy about that. You guys get bonus log rolling, they get more time in the water. Here we go.
Think it's getting hot. You better take it easy, 'cause the place is on fire. Been a hot day. Feeling too good.
And it's Alyssa for the win. A great effort by Cheryl to force it to a fifth and even a sixth row. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a hand for Ashley, Lorette, Cheryl, and Alyssa, the Accident Loggers of Maine. Thank you all so much. We're having a great time here. Enjoy the festival. Good luck at the lottery. We have another show at 4 o'clock. Come on over and say hi to the ladies. Thank you all so much, and thank you to the town of Fort Kent and Maine Operation Game Thief. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a hand for Ashley, Lorette, Cheryl, and Alyssa, the Accident Loggers of Maine.